What's up there, love? Today I'm going to talk about what might hinder manifestation, how we think of manifestation, and what we might not be aware of that is a hindrance. Number one, trauma. Number two, distortion. Okay, so let's go bit by bit. So let's define trauma here because we all have a more detailed or more vague conception of that. But when your body hits a wall and it hurts, you experience resistance or opposition. The body remembers that, and now the body might start to be uncomfortable around walls. Psychologically, you can also experience hitting the wall or resistance, which informs your body. On one level, it can be just a mere disappointment that something that you was trying did not work out, and you memorize it. Automatically, you're memorizing all of your experiences. So on a higher degree than just psychological disappointment, that might be the imprint of that resistance that you experience. It might be a hurdle, it might be a perpetual disappointment or perpetual hurdle that entrains the impression in your body that something is really, really, really unavailable and hard, but then your story will collaborate with the feeling of that. And however you imagine yourself being in a different reality, another reality where something is manifested and you have your dream life, it might just feel that there is some level of incoherence, okay, and you may energy test this. There is some level of ambivalence or resistance that at the same time, like, I'm here and then I don't want to go there. So this is completely normal. Actually, desires that you want to manifest, dream life, those desires that you are fond of, at least. We're going to talk about distortion, okay, of desire in a bit. Those desires that make you happy in a really kind of like childish way, innocent way. Those desires are actually pinged to you. They're pinged from your higher self, so they can be the anchor. Okay, your goals are actually evolving you out of the accumulated resistance, disappointment, or trauma. Because if you want to manifest, you need to transmute your memory, your energy. Okay? And for this reason, oftentimes, when we're really shifting into a new reality, we may start to have triggers, okay? Scenarios from the past repeating, triggering these emotional impressions. Sometimes we feel like we want to something triggered me, I had to like vent it all out, and that's okay. The best is if you can stay mindful during these, because if you see that the past is repeating itself, sometimes you need to express. When you impress that resistance, you need to express, okay, or you need to surrender and be like, ooh, that was really scary, breath work, and then okay, and then here you go, new reality. Okay, so it might be actually uncomfortable. It might feel that exactly when we are about to make that leap, that shift, that everything is trying to pull us back into some kind of old scenario. Now, this is not the universe testing you to play tricks on you because it's a sociopath or some kind of like a psychopath, even though it might seem so at a time. It is just that uh, you need to express the previous script out of your body. And scripts are expressed, or do you know, the energy that something we wanted to do or say or push through that resistance, or even surrender and then just say, okay, I'm vulnerable, I can't do it, and then I'm rested, I can do it. You see, this is how it goes. So the energy is expressed by creating the expression, moving your body into expressions. So people are hacking this and they do somatic movement where you're really taking the waves of that emotional depository or that energetic depository and you're working it in a subtle way. So it's kind of like smooth dancing by feeling how the body wants to move, or you're simply circulating deep breaths so you can also expand that previous memory. Okay, so this kind of like yogic or whatever, you know, it's a method or methods. Okay, so how is this going so far? Are you getting everything? If you're vibing with this information that I'm sharing, please leave a comment, like, or subscribe to your will. Now, okay, so it might feel that universe is testing us. And you will be really elegant if you hold your center, and in the moment where huge emotion is rising, you don't need to even play into that script. So you like witness it and you let it pass through your body, you walk it off. Okay. But sometimes you need to go into that catharsis mode and just play heavy metal music and then blues because it was sad. So sad, baby, baby. Okay, and then it's expressed. So the higher self that is designing your desire, your manifestation, your life, kind of wants to actually purify you. So, like on the highest level, beyond even the matrix of dimensions, you're just pure consciousness. So your existence is very light, very serene, very, you know, maybe there are no even words yet for that, because it's either the empty consciousness or the singularity space, that's energy, bliss, whatever that is, you know, so source. So on that level, you are bouncing as this you're bouncing deep into this immersion of form. And so every time you want to purify, you want to go to something else, you want to travel into another frequency, another dimension, another reality, it's necessary to deplete this karma. Now, karma is simply your memory, okay? So to deplete the previous memory, okay? Now, I might also want to talk about trauma loops or karmic loops, just to mention them here. It is impossible to be in a different state of reality if in your body there is still an intense emotion about something that previously happened to you, okay? And you may as well have great imagination and see yourself in exactly the life and scenario where you want to go, but until this emotion is depleted and resolved, or you know, you get into a catharsis and then body shakes it off. It's what animals do actually after they have a really intense thing that activates all of this emotion in the body, and then you need to shake it out, because otherwise the emotion will be possessing you still, even if it's compressed somewhere in the body, or it's kind of sleeping dormant in the subconscious mind, you know, hiding in your organs, because this is what they do. You know, the emotion, they can expand and compress, and sometimes they're just like in these muscles or in some organ hiding somewhere, okay? Because we didn't know what to do with that energy because it's overwhelming, then we compress it. So that's cool, but on the long run it creates disease. Yeah, so everything is physical ailments, it's all compressed emotion in the body that is blocking the energy flow. Otherwise, your energy flow is open, it regenerates the body and everything. So, of course, on the human level of experiencing so many things, even small disappointments, they go into your memory. And like every time before I want to have clarity and openness to connecting to this, make a video or even be creative doing some other stuff, I need to decompress a lot of the previous thought forms, previous experiences. So this is just a hygiene. This is something that you become aware of, and then it starts to be an integral part of being human. Okay. So trauma loop or a karmic loop would be, and especially a negative one, would be because if you store excitement because something went like, I'm working on this project and it's doing really good, and then you tomorrow, well, my previous memory is like, this is going really good, so now I'm working on it, and then it's, so that's a positive feedback loop. But a negative karmic loop would be like, I'm still experiencing, I'm being bullied, and then guess what, the projection of that emotion, whether conscious or subconscious, is putting me in a situation in order that I could like push off that limitation and get out of that situation. It's remanifesting. The universe is remanifesting. But if I get into a confirmation bias loop and I confirm to myself, oh my god, my life is like because I'm always, now the boss is bullying me, and then I change the job and now this boss is bullying me, and then I go there and now they're bullying me, so everywhere I go I'm just being bullied, so what's the point? So you can get into actually confirmation bias, where as long as that emotion is not released for your body, actually the reality is being manifested that might even be re-traumatizing. Now universe don't know any better because it's doing infinite operations of creating this reality. So you have like angels and guides, and they can inspire you, and you know, many of people like me talking on YouTube, sharing this information, it's also coming from your guides or your super conscious, your higher self. It's kind of like in the collective field, there are many energies and many aspects of consciousness that are trying to troubleshoot and take care of us, yeah? But if we don't get the message, we might be in a closed negative karmic loop, and then our identity becomes that. So we don't know how to remove ourselves. I'm consciousness, this is my memory creating this reality, I will take responsibility to shake it out, and then I can shift into a different reality where I don't have to identify with that really sad and kind of like troubling stuff. But yeah, I was able to feel it and I didn't die, and now I'm unbreakable and invincible, and I feel so you may write a song like, at first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I'm a little baby who can't live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights and I was sad baby, and then I learned how to be strong, and now my life goes on to you see. So we transform also by feeling, expressing, so singing blues songs, victory songs, songs that go from I was caught up in a hurdle and now I'm fine. You see, this happens to everybody on some degree, so we need to have a way to transmute art, poetry, singing, whatever, dancing, cathartic dancing, like we used to do in a tribe. Everybody go around the fire and just put it in the fire, yo, put it in the fire. Everybody jump, jump, jump all evening, and then tomorrow, no more karma. So there are ways that might be out of the current day and age, but this used to be the thing, and it's still a thing at some parts of the earth, you know. Actually very efficient. Okay, so then storing and looping, and then going into the story where you're identifying with that. Ooh, that's hell. Transmuting the emotion, that's purgatory. Going into a higher frequency because you have dumped the poo from your system, you know, that's elevation, okay? So now the other thing was distortion. So what's a distortion? Very basically, how you also like project your self-concept, and if it's coming from this wounds, unresolved emotions, we create compensation or complexes. In psychology, they're called complexes, but it's like compensation mechanism. So I hit the wall. Now I can't get that something directly. So I choose a route of, and then the psyche builds all kind of like weird synapses and connections. How we gonna do this that are not upfront, that are not authentic to the divine child that lives inside of you, that just wants to play, and it's kind of like sincere and open and vulnerable, but also like self-reliant and kind of create, and like, so the God version of you and me. But how life is complex and we get so many complex programmings and intentions, we adapt, and in this adaptation there can be disharmonious adaptation, and actually this disharmonious adaptation or distortion, it's a current version of reality. You know, there are high realities that are like perfect and heavenly, but we are leaning into this human reality that is imperfect, and the distortion is a default part of this reality that 99.9% of humanity will live in one or other degree of distortion. So let's just say like distortion is not something that this world will ever ever. It's kind of fun just like saying one word in different styles, like ever, which is highly unprofessional because I was explaining distortion. Oh my god, I'm super unprofessional. Even though if you guys wanna work with me, I'm a mentor, okay, and you can hire me to be your personal mentor. I will also have some products and offers dropping soon, but I also act like this, but my accessing of the situation and also like removing crystallizing, removing distortion, recrystallizing your perfect version, it comes in many layers, you know, but I'm very, very chirurgical. Okay. So at the same time, I might act like, funny because I'm also just experiencing that comical relief brings a lot of more coziness to all of these heavy subjects, and you may find that then troubleshooting your manifestation or your trauma can be playful to a degree. Okay, so I'm trying to make this nice, and and then I'm also acting like an idiot. And also I found out that the ego can get really stiff and like neuroplasticified, so it's good to just be goofy to not get over serious. Now, over identifying with our ways and means and strategies can also create mental distortions. So this is one thing that I wanted to tell you. Why can this actually sabotage your manifestation? So you may get really stuck on a way that you see how you want something, and the higher self is like, yo, you're getting into a distortion where you're actually going away from ease and effortless, and you're going into must have and FOMO and panic mode and insistence mode and manipulation mode and all kind of modes that are not in the higher frequency of you. Because in the higher frequency, you're just playing, things are effortless, and you're really flowing, so there's no attachment. So this conglomerates of mental ways, even though we can get into complex mental buildups, we need to be able also to get it out of our RAM memory. Otherwise, like, you can invent these perspectives and convictions and beliefs and micro personalities inside of your psyche that are now driving, and they have their own agenda, and they become like these little entities that are disconnected from your playfulness. And then they want this, and in this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. And I mean, this is so cool, okay, because Earth is like, there's no life in that. We're just like experiencing it. Fantasy role play, wearing these meat suits and like whatnot. So everything is a experiment and learning opportunity. But then if you actually get it into, and if you're insistent, and then this ego becomes like this driving force, and if you insist, you're gonna be able to manifest. But things are gonna get darker and darker and darker and darker, and I can get no satisfaction. While your higher self wants you to become free of the must-have, of the FOMO, of the control mode, of the psycho mode, and then also just relax, and then have all of it. All the same things, but in a jolly way. So ain't that smart that then it's kind of like sometimes seeing a better way for you, and it's not gonna answer your prayer because you're not praying from the right place. Because if you would be praying from the right place, you would know yourself to be already one with that God to which you're praying, and then you would already feel yourself to be one with that thing or situation or experience that you're desiring, so everything would be already perfectly jolly in the now. So yeah, distortion, and the root of distortion may be wounding, sorry, it may be a lot of times just tripping balls, because mind is very good at making stories, and then mind can make a story that goes so far into its own perspective, into its own logic, and then create multiple perspectives, diverse perspectives, and then whole conglomerates of information that are disconnected from the enjoyment. So mine can just be a bully. Mine can just be like a very labyrinthic, yeah, like a hellish labyrinth of perspectives that are not here in the holistic arrangement of reality that's supposed to be a fun game to play. So there you go. See you on the flip side. Bye.